Hello, Margie.
Hi, Andrea. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you. I am calling to find out if you would like to share a little bit about April or the upcoming month regarding astrology.
Oh, absolutely. I would love that. I guess what's happening right now and starting on Tuesday is when astrologers would start the month. And the reason for that is because we have a new moon on Tuesday, and that new moon is in Aries. So we consider, this essentially to be the lunar month of Aries, and the moon is going to set the tone for the next 28 days. And Aries is going to be the energy that is being promoted. And so Aries, let's just talk a little bit about the sign of Aries, because Aries has the symbol of the ram's horns. You know that, right? And so imagine two male rams facing off. They're just charging headfirst into each other. And what you're seeing is impulsiveness and forcefulness going on. And that is very much a good imagery for Aries. There are archetypes for Aries, which are the warrior, the pioneer, and the adventurer. So again, with more imagery to really help understand and feel the energy of Aries would be the warrior that's pulling his sword from his sheath, ready to charge forward in battle. There would be the pioneer that is ready to face all unknown perils, traveling through a new territory to get to a better destination. That would be another one. Or the adventurer that's dismissing all fears of danger in order to have the excitement and thrills, of a new challenge. And so these archetypes are perfect to sort of sit with and understand the kind of energy, that Aries is about. It's about putting the desires of self into action. It is that spark of fire impulse from the realm of unlimited potential or source that comes through to the individual. And the mantra for it shouts, I am. So, it's a wonderfully powerful energy. It also can be very self-centered if it's not handled correctly.
Yeah.
So this new moon is about getting the best for yourself, for your highest self, in what's happening, because Aries is propelling us into action.
Yes.
And we may feel the impulse to just do whatever we want. But there's, the sun and the moon. So this new moon is essentially the sun and the moon conjunct, sitting together. Picture the moon as a new moon as an empty cup. The moon is a cup.
Okay.
And it receives energy from the sun. And this sun is shining its light with all this Aries energy. And the moon is the receptacle. And it reflects back what the sun is giving it. And it too, because the moon also is in Aries, it's a moon, an Aries moon as well. So we have this double dose of Aries energy being filtered from both the sun and the moon. But there are three other planets also in Aries, and they would be Mercury, Venus, and Uranus. And they're asking us to look at them for guidance. Those planets also in Aries are going to tell us a lot about how we can actually utilize this Aries energy and not just blindly, lunge forward.
Yes.
So do you have any questions about that right now, what I just said, before I go into the three other planets?
No, go ahead and go into the three planets. I will say, I guess I do actually. So if someone is maybe not aware of that, there's a potential for somewhat self-destructive behavior, right? Because acting on that impulse. Okay.
Good point. Good point.
Okay.
Which is why when we consider these next 3 planets and what they tell us, it's going to give us a lot more guidance on how to direct this Aries energy.
Okay, perfect.
So,
I'm looking forward to hearing. Yay.
Okay. One of them is Venus, beautiful Venus, about love and beauty. And Venus in Aries is about using the Aries energy to go after what we love and what we think is beautiful. So let's say we meet someone new and we impulsively go, this is great. I want to jump right into a new relationship. That can happen with Venus and Aries energy. Or we see something that, a new type of fashion or something like a beauty treatment, and we feel we need to have that, and we need to have it now in order to feel more beautiful or more attractive. And so, again, this is the Aries impulsive energy using Venus. Venus's energy.
Yes.
I must have it now. Well, here's what's really interesting is a few weeks back, Venus earlier this month went into retrograde. And so we need to talk about how this Venus retrograde energy is a little different, because retrograde puts the brakes on. It signals for us to reconsider jumping right into those activities. And we go, wait a minute, maybe I better think about this. And Venus is the ruler for both Taurus, which is, slow and steady, and Libra, about relationships. So basically, Venus says, slow it down, match up with someone who's better for you long term, and who's more partnership material, which would be Libra. So Venus says, look to me. I'll tell you what to consider.
Yes.
She asks us to ask ourselves what true beauty really is and what makes us authentically beautiful. So we're not looking externally.
Yes.
But we're looking internally. And so we have this Venus energy over the next month moving backward through Aries and right back into Pisces, where it was a few weeks before that. And Venus exalts in Pisces. And I think it's important to talk about how refined and beautiful Venus is in Pisces, because she's elegance and grace. She is the most transcendent and ideal expression of herself there. She's exalted there. And so again, Venus, when we think about Venus, she's asking us to go for the best, the most ideal, the most exalted vision of what we love, what we feel is beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that, because Aries just says charge. But
let's do it.
What do we charge? What are we going to charge for? Something marginal or something that's really optimum? And so she goes back direct on April 15th. And at that point, everyone's going to be much clearer about what and how we choose love. So that's a beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing.
With Venus, again, going direct on the 15th of April. So that takes care of Venus. We have Mercury and Uranus also in Aries. Mercury in Aries is all about having a quick thinking mind and the ability to express those ideas. And because it's conjunct Uranus, it basically gives our ideas an extra dose of being urgent and impulsive and genius. So, wow, if that doesn't inspire you to action, then nothing will. So Mercury just says, I've got this great idea, and let's go.
Yeah.
But on
and
the
Uranus
9th,
is like the backup, right? Like saying, come on.
Uranus is just saying, oh my God, this is rebellion. This is freedom. Let's go for it. Yeah. But what's going to slow it down, and think about this, that on the 9th of April, Mercury 2 is going retrograde. And so it says, rethink your impulse, and it wants you to ask the question, what type of action will create the highest and best result? So Mercury is mind, and it's going to ask you to reevaluate those actions.
Okay.
So, it says, how do I handle this? How should my mind evaluate this? Well, opposite Aries is Libra. And so the best type of action is going to create an outcome in one that considers the other person or the people that matter in our lives. Libra governs partnership and marriage. It balances out our ideas of self-absorption. And so when Mercury and Uranus oppose Jupiter, planet of expansion in Libra, it basically says, the best result is going to come from considering our loved one. And here's what's really fascinating is that Uranus, we have Uranus and Mercury, and Uranus is the sole ruler of Libra, and, which is partnerships, and Mercury is the sole ruler of Aries. So we have these soul rulers, planets that rule the higher aspect of ourselves, the non-material aspects of ourselves, the aspect of ourselves that really matters when we finally drop all the baggage, the external baggage. And so Mercury, as the sole ruler of Aries, asks us to tap into our higher mind and know the purpose of our inspiration. And Uranus asks us to seek innovation and new ideas to problem solve in our relationship. So each of these planets is showing us the best long-term way to take action. And these are, Aries and Libra are two of the cardinal signs. And so I want to just quickly follow the key cardinal stops of the moon over the next month, because this is how we're going to see how we can work and understand how the moon moves, because this is her cycle. And when we follow the cardinal stops, we're going to see that 1 week after the new moon, we're going to have our first quarter moon, and that's where the moon will be in the sign of Cancer, which is where she rules. And she'll be opposite to Pluto and Capricorn. So this is called the cardinal cross, and this is very powerful. And so when the moon is in Cancer, it's all about the feminine. And the feminine is defined by emotion, and it's water. It's emotion and sensitivity and connection and bonding with others. It's love and conscious awareness. And this is what we need to create that balance. So I'm going to give a very easy example. Let's just say, Margie, you have an idea right now that you want to move forward with, but you're not sure whether to move forward with it. You're thinking maybe your partner isn't going to like it, and you're not sure what to do. Well, you have a choice. You could, first of all, say, well, forget you to your partner, right? Because this is Aries. I just want to go.
Yes.
You can grab you can just grab that Jupiter expansive energy from Libra and just pull it to yourself and say, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's it. And you might get what you wanted, but you would also have to consider that in getting what you wanted, you would probably lose a certain quality to your relationship.
Yeah.
But scenario 2 says, follow the moon around its cycle. In the cardinal cross, it says, when you get over to Cancer, bond and make an emotional connection with your partner. Explain to your partner why you want to do what you want to do. why it's important to you, where this impulse is coming from, what your overall goal is. You know, maybe if it includes your partner, show why you're excited. Make the bond in Cancer, that's the juice of life. Isn't the relationship what we love anyway? Why would you just eliminate the juice? It's beautiful. And then what happens is that a week later, when the moon moves into Libra, this is, and again, Libra is about partnership, and Jupiter is already there, so we'll have moon conjunct Jupiter, expanding your relationship. Don't be surprised if your partner is more supportive than you thought. And that's how I see the month taking shape and wrapping up, in using those Aries energies to the highest caliber. Did my example make sense?
That's perfect. Yeah, that's totally perfect. What if someone is, do you mind me asking a question first?
No, of course.
What if someone is not in a relationship, or maybe they're starting off on a new business adventure, right? Like an example is, I had an idea a few days ago, and about something, and as it related to some business stuff, and you know, I'm sitting with it for a second, but I feel like there's this action wanting to come into place. So how would that apply in those scenarios? Like, you know,
well, you just wouldn't have if you didn't have a partner or someone else that it would affect. Okay, let's say you didn't have dependents or anybody that. Yeah. Because I still think if you're in any kind of relationship, I still think it's important to create the bond. Explain, right. I do. Think about, use the Mercury, the higher mind, as to what is the source of your inspiration and what is your highest ideal for it, and hold that. Okay. And then share that with who you love. And if there is no one in your life, share it with yourself. Share the juice with feel the excitement of it, just like you would. Love yourself. Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect. That's really perfect.
And for those people who are in relationships in which they feel like they're making a real honest attempt at bringing their partner on board, and they feel like their idea is reasonable, and they go through those steps of sharing, of not only sharing the idea, but sharing emotionally, and the partner still doesn't get on board, I have a funny feeling that they already know that partner's not the best partner for them anyway. Yes. And I mean, that's the really disappointing part, because I know we dream of having a partnership in which we can truly be ourselves and share what excites us with the other person, and be able to get them involved and have them support us. And when that doesn't happen, inevitably the relationship will take a turn for the worst anyway. So just keep that in mind. Not all partners are ideal.
Yes. I totally agree with that. And you're right about considering, like, I didn't look at it that way, like everyone involved, you know, like the whole space, those that you love. That's really perfect. Thank you so much. It's really perfect. So if when I have you do a reading on me, how do I contact you? Besides just our website, besides Basmati, but on your website, what is it?
Right. So I'm awakenastrology.com. You can find me on there. You can email me at andreams, ANDREAMS, 369@gmail.com. Perfect. Or you can just, like I said, go right through Awaken Astrology as well.
Okay, great. And I'll ask one little more question. So when I have my chart done, with you,
Mm-hmm.
will it help me to better understand when we do this again for future months of how that works with me personally on a more personal level?
Well, yes. I
Does
mean,
that make sense? Okay.
of course.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own birth chart, which is
Yes.
their blueprint of energies. And so when I'm working one-on-one with a person, their chart is working with, I gave a general chart for everyone. That is, what is currently happening. But
Okay.
I work with the person's birth chart and their own unique personal set of energies.
Oh, that's perfect. Yay. I'm looking forward to that, actually. I feel like it's a great tool to help us navigate not only within ourselves, but also with what's happening in the world.
It
Like
definitely gives guidance.
Yes, yes. And for me, knowing myself has been very important this lifetime. And so I know that working in different modalities has helped me find that. It's all internal, that once we get away from all the external stuff. But sometimes myself, I've been confused about things, and I realize when, as I've gotten older and gone more in depth inside of myself, that some of those blueprints were part of my just makeup coming here, and I wasn't taught that as a young child. So I'm looking forward to it, Andrea. So we'll have to do this again a few days before next month.
Thanks, Margie. Really appreciate the call.
Thank you so much for your time. Bye, honey.